Yo, good afternoon, everybody, man. It's your guy, Jeezy. Those who are returning, very well appreciate it. Those who are new, welcome. Over at this channel, I react to videos, basically. The topic may be whatever it is. So, if you guys have any suggestions, go ahead and comment that down below, man, and let me know. I'll go ahead and check it out. See if I'm interested. And most definitely, you guys are interested in me reacting to it, if I believe. So, but right here, man, what I got for you guys is I got teens reacting to their sentence. Young folks like me, man. I'm 19 years old. I don't really plan down in the future ever being sentenced, you know what I mean, other than if my life is on the line. So but anyways, man, I'm not gonna be holding guys up too much longer, you know what I mean. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Hope all of you are having a great week too, man. Alright, today Wednesday.
As the only nation in the world that sentences people to life without the possibility of parole for crime, the United States of America stands alone as the only nation in the world.
I've never seen this video, so all of you, man, like, I ain't never seen this video, so this is completely different. And by the way, as you can see, this video right here is 25 minutes long. I'm obviously not going to be reacting to it, because dang, you know what I mean, this video is probably going to be, when I bullet it, like about like 40 minutes long, 35 minutes, so I'm probably going to really react to it maybe about like 10 minutes.
Sentences people to life without the possibility of parole for crimes committed before turning 18. It's difficult to keep the emotions out of this issue, as the kids that are being convicted are just that. Kids.
Well, man, I did not know the United States was
should they not pay for their crimes, considering the seriousness of some of their offenses? In any case, being a teenager and being told that you will never be free again must be a completely earth-shattering moment. There's a clear before and after a kid hears that famous word, guilty. For better or for worse, teenagers being sent to jail for life happens all the time. From an incredibly irresponsible and lethal driver to a young man that either deserves an Oscar nomination or around-the-clock psychiatric care, here are 20 teenage convicts reacting to life sentences. Number 20. Jacob Musin and Drake Campbell reaction of crying in court. Actions have consequences. We all heard this sentence at least once in our young days. In the case of the 18-year-old Jacob Musin and 17-year-old Drake Campbell, a judge had to remind them that it's not just a saying. And this is how this teen reacted after hearing his sentence. Armed robbery, burglary, murder, and attempted murder. These are the horrible crimes the two young men were charged with. Kadeem Johnson and his girlfriend were returning to their home in Huger, South Carolina. A group of 5 men were lurking inside their house, amongst them the 2 teenagers. The suspects found $3,000 in cash and decided to tear the house apart. But at the sight of the couple returning home unexpectedly, things took an even more horrific turn. First, they put the couple down to their knees and duct taped their hands. Then they shot Kadeem Johnson in an execution-style murder. They also shot the girlfriend in the hands and chest, leaving her for dead. It took 4 law enforcement agencies to apprehend the suspects a few days later. The 2 teenagers' family members tried to plead a more clement ruling in front of the judge, but it's when Jacob heard he was given 40 years in prison and Drake 20, they both broke into tears. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification. Dylan Schumacher committed one of the most horrific crimes imaginable. At 16 years old.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, what did Meek Mill say? If you can't do the crime, I'm sorry. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
The teenager was left babysitting his girlfriend's son. That same day, the 23-month-old toddler was found dead after a gruesome attack by the teenager. While facing the judge, Dylan insisted that he did not intend to kill Austin, but clearly the judge, along with the jurors and the Supreme Court, found it very hard to believe. Based on the suspect's testimony and the documents presented to the court, it all started when Dylan spanked and slapped the toddler's face after spitting his food. Later, he also admitted slamming the boy's head on the floor while changing his diaper and punching his face multiple times while placing a pillow on his head. He was afraid that the boy would wake up his baby brother, Dylan said. Charged and convicted of murder and child abuse, Dylan was sentenced to 25 to life since then. And whether it's because of the sentencing itself or because of real or staged remorse, Dylan couldn't stop crying in the courtroom. But the judge himself called the teenager a manipulator and a deceiver and insisted that the last minutes of Austin's life must have been terrifying. Number 18. Lindsay's sentence raising questions. At 16 years old, Nicholas Lindsay was pulled over by a cop responding to a reported possible car break-in nearby. When the 46-year-old police veteran stepped out to talk with Lindsay, the teenager shot him 5 times, causing the officer's death. At that time, the jury found the teenager guilty of first-degree murder, and the judge sentenced him to a life in prison without parole. 1 year later, after the U.S. Supreme Court ruling it unconstitutional to sentence a juvenile to life without parole, the legislator passed a law pushing judges to take into consideration the suspect's age and the possibilities for rehabilitation. So, based on this new opportunity, Lindsay's attorneys appealed for a reduced sentence from a life sentence to 40 years in prison. The defense justified the appeal based on the fact that Lindsay had obtained his GED and attended other classes in prison, trying to show it as clear signs of rehabilitation. But prosecutors presented evidence that also during that time, Lindsay was found with contraband and was involved in fighting and cutting another inmate's face. His violent behavior has continued since the murder, said the judge while sentencing Lindsay to life without parole for a second time, a decision that left Lindsay smirking in front of the judge while hearing it. Number 17.
Yeah, bro. That, you see, like, that one right there, man, caught my attention, you know what I mean? Because, as you can see, bro, he smirked. At 40 years. That guy right there clearly has nothing to lose, bro. Like, he deserves that book right there that he's been thrown at. And he ain't never getting out, bro. And by the way, when he appeals, after, like, he does his 40 years, I don't know if it's consecutive or whatever, but, I mean, for, like, good behavior, you probably get out maybe, like, 20 years. And then you probably be on supervised probation. But, I mean, that video right there, that clip, they're going to present that and show them that, you know, like, he doesn't really, like, deserve it, as you can say. So, but anyways, man, that kid deserves to go to jail.
Of setting fire that killed brother cries. After 5 hours of investigations and several years later after the events, this case still brings up more questions than actual answers. Matt Morgan was left babysitting his 14-month-old brother at their trailer park, and a few days later, he was charged with murder and arson. The prosecutors based their case on circumstantial evidence and the 5-hour interrogation the teenager went through. The investigators insisted that the 17-year-old intentionally started 2 different fires that led to the death of his brother. The first one by dropping a candle on a blanket in the baby's room, and the second one in the living room by lighting a pillow on fire. They also claim he stood still outside watching the trailer park take fire while his brother was inside and without asking for help or even trying to help himself. Insisting that he confessed being fascinated by the fire. But at the same time, Matt's parents were claiming that he was intimidated into confessing. They insist he has developmental delays and autism, and he's always had problems reading, writing, and understanding commands. Matt was sentenced to 15 years in prison, and when he heard his sentence, he collapsed to tears to the point that bailiffs had to lift him up off the floor. Number 16. Philip Kism accused of murdering teacher. At 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, the 14-year-old Philip Kism was reported missing from his school after not showing up to soccer practice.
But you could tell, man, he was really sad. Like, you know, that seemed real to me. He was really sad that he's going to be going that long.
At 11 p.m. that same day, the 24-year-old teacher, Colleen Ritzer, was also reported missing. As both disappearances seemed suspicious, the police started to investigate, and so, quickly, they found the teacher's deceased body. Less than 2 hours later, the police found Kism walking on the side of the road. In his backpack, they found a box cutter with blood, the teacher's ID, her credit cards, and women's underwear. When he was asked whose blood it was, he said, "It's the girl's." It appears that Kism followed his teacher into a school bathroom wearing gloves and a hood. He assaulted her sexually and stabbed her 16 times before leaving by himself 12 minutes later. Kism then came back with a recycling barrel to transport the body into the woods near the school with a note saying, "I hate you all." Being unconstitutional to sentence a juvenile to life without parole, 2 years later, Kism didn't seem to flinch when sentenced to 40 years in prison for robbing, killing, and raping Colleen Ritzer. Number 15. Jody Eric.
You may have received an email from Google that says smart shopping campaign.
Like I said, Brian, I want to commit murder, bro. Like,
admits to killing her boyfriend.
You know what I mean? Like,
in June 2008, Travis Alexander's friends called 911 after finding his.
If I had a gun pointed at, you know, like one of my, you know, loved ones or whatever, like, you know, because then again, like, bro, man, you really gotta think about it, especially those young folks. You all, man, like, if you guys are viewing it, man, you want to stay away from, man, from being convicted, from even just like misdemeanors, a little even like petty traffic violations, you know what I mean? Because it just damages you, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you're part of that against life, then yeah, go ahead, you know what I mean? I mean, I ain't trying to tell y'all what you do, you know what I mean? But I'm just telling you, bro, like, everything that you do, bro, got a consequence. Like, for real, man. Especially these felonies, bro, they'll damage you, bro. Like, people turn homeless, bro, just because by convicting or being convicted of those types of crimes, those types of indictments, you know what I mean? So just damage you financially, those who are around you. Like I said, man, like a lot of folks become homeless because of their criminal background.
In his bathroom, Alexander was shot in the forehead at around 30 knife wounds, and his throat was slit from ear to ear. When talking to the police, the friends mentioned Jodi Arias as Alexander's girlfriend. A month later, Arias is arrested on suspicion of first-degree murder of her deceased boyfriend. The trial and investigation lasted over 5 years, during which Jodi's testimonies of the event showcased a variety of versions of what might have happened that day. At first, she pled not guilty, denying killing Alexander during a public interview she gave to the press. Then she started admitting to being present during what she claimed was a home invasion that led to the horrific murder. After that, she started shifting her story into a self-defense act, but she had no memory of stabbing him. She submitted private letters as proof of a sexually abusive ex-boyfriend. She even took a stand in court as her own witness to prove her theory. But prosecutors insisted that Alexander was the one defending himself until his body gave up. Finding her guilty of the hideous crime, the jurors determined she was eligible for the death penalty, but the judge sentenced her to life in prison without parole. Number 14.
Alright. So that's pretty much going to be it. Like I said, man, I'm not going to be reacting to the whole 25 minutes of the video. I'll tell you what, I'll make a part 2 of the same video of the rest of it. I'll do that for y'all guys, you know what I mean? But just, you know, like, I know you guys ain't going to be sitting here just watching me watch this video right here, you know, and not only that, it's 25 minutes long, but the video that I'm going to be uploading with me reacting to it is going to be like 35 minutes. So, I mean, I'll just make it part 2. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Reacted to 8 minutes of it. Hope all of you are doing well, you know what I mean? Those who are returning, thank you very much. And those who are new, welcome very much, man. Subscribe, comment, like if you like, you know what I mean? You ain't got to, but it don't hurt nothing. Take a second. If you guys are feeling generous, if you guys are messing with me already, man, go ahead and like and subscribe, you know what I mean? So, I'm a new upcoming YouTuber. I'm liking it so far. I'm feeling more comfortable talking to a microphone, looking at a camera. So I'm getting better at editing. You know, I'm improving. You know what I mean? You grow as you go. So, but anyways, again, man, enjoy your weekend. Or I'm sorry, enjoy your week. Hope you guys are gonna have a great weekend. Today, Wednesday, middle of the week. You know what I mean? We're almost there to the weekend. So I'm gonna catch y'all later. All right.